Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today, well, we're going to be trying to figure out what this prehistoric crocodilian from Dino Dex is, since we don't actually have confirmation of what it's going to be yet. And I do want to mention, before I start this video, every now and then I may throw in some footage of the Gharial from Jane, which is another sinking ship series. It's not really connected, just this guy does look similar to a Gharial, and I kind of just wanted to use some footage of the Gharial from Jane somewhere, so I decided to throw it in this video. But anyways, let's continue with this. Generally, this creature does look very Gharial-like, so it is most likely some sort of prehistoric Gharial. These are the only really two images we have of the species, so we don't have a good size of what it is, so that would have helped a lot, but we don't. So we're going to just generally have to go with the look. It has a slender Gharial-like snout, and a general Gharial-shaped body. Something weird about this is that it has large yellow spikes across the back, which is weird, but we'll get into that later on. Anyways, our first suspect on what this thing could be is Sarcosuchus. It's a pretty popular species, and in fact it's one of the most popular prehistoric crocodiles, even though it's technically not a crocodilian, and well, it does have a slender snout that is somewhat similar to a Gharial. So, could this possibly be Sarcosuchus? Well, no. Even if you try to match up the skull, Sarcosuchus' head is really robust, and though it is similar to Gharial's, this guy looks almost identical to a Gharial, while Sarcosuchus, on the other hand, doesn't really look much like a Gharial, besides it kind of being slender. Another thing, we can't actually see the tip of the nose, which would have also helped, which, because it said Sarcosuchus has a large boss, well, this guy probably also has a large one, just not the same as Sarcosuchus's. So I do not think that this is a Sarcosuchus, since yes, sometimes these models are not the most accurate, but they usually can get really close to what the animal looks like, and this doesn't look much like a Sarcosuchus. Next, we have Acanthosuchus, which is actually a species that someone commented that this may be, mainly due to the fact that this guy means spiked crocodile, and that it actually would have had some spiked scutes, similar to the model, though they probably would not have been anywhere near as exaggerated on the model. The thing is that really makes me question if this would be Acanthosuchus is the fact that it is an alligatoroid, which means it would have had a skull somewhat similar to an alligator, being kind of robust and wide. And though the spikes, that would have made a lot of sense on why I had the spikes, the skulls don't match up anyway at all. Just generally, they are completely different crocodilians with very different skulls that they would have probably used these very different things. Though I do think that would have made more sense for having the spikes, though the skulls just don't match up at all. Even though I don't think we actually have a skull for this animal, it being an alligatoroid makes pretty much no sense to be reconstructed with a Gharial-like head. Anyways, our next suspect, and the one that I suspected it to be for the longest time, is Gryphosuchus, which actually is a prehistoric relative to Gharials, being really closely related to them. And well, this head matches up pretty much perfectly with this model. That's why, for the longest time, I thought that this is a Gryphosuchus, and I still think that it could be a Gryphosuchus. But we have another suspect, Rhamphosuchus, which also is another prehistoric relative to a Gharial. Though it's not as similar looking, it is still very similar to a Gharial. And if we match their heads up, I couldn't find really good images of these guys' skulls, but generally they do look like this could also be a Rhamphosuchus. So, which is it? Well, it's pretty much impossible to tell till the series comes out. On one hand, I believe Rhamphosuchus is slightly larger than Gryphosuchus, but Gryphosuchus is quite a bit more popular. Even though it doesn't have too many appearances, it has had a Jurassic World toy and a few Jurassic World appearances and a few games. Though not big, it does give it a little bit more popularity than Rhamphosuchus. Though on the other hand, it really could be either of these, and it's impossible to know until the series finally releases. So, generally the answer is it's probably a Gryphosuchus or a Rhamphosuchus. Personally, I think it is a Gryphosuchus because I think the skulls match up a little bit better, but we won't know until this series comes out. Anyways, what do you guys think this prehistoric crocodilian is? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!